Hey everyone and welcome to this explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here. Today we're gearing up for a literally breathtaking, high-altitude journey. We're going to explore this majestic route that winds deep into the Hengduan Mountains of Western Sichuan, traveling along the legendary National Highway 318. We're talking stunning landscapes, deep-rooted culture, and honestly, the sheer physical endurance it takes just to make this ascent.
Your body will be in hell, but your eyes will be in heaven. This famous local saying, it perfectly hooks us right into the heart of our journey. Throughout this explainer, we're going to look closely at the ultimate traveler's paradox, the punishing physical toll of extreme altitude sickness versus the completely euphoric visual rewards that the plateau offers. It's the kind of journey where every single step drains your energy, but every view absolutely recharges your soul.
Part 1. Gateway to the Sky Road. Okay, let's dive into this. So our epic journey on the over 5,000-kilometer G318 starts by leaving the lowlands far behind. And to really grasp this trip, you have to appreciate the sheer contrast. You start off in the warm, humid, and bustling plains of Chengdu, sitting comfortably at about 500 meters in elevation. But in just a matter of hours, boom, you are thrust into the freezing, oxygen-deprived environment of the plateau at over 4,000 meters. The drop in temperature is so sudden and so biting that travelers actually joke about breakfast. Imagine buying a warm, hard-boiled egg in the morning, only to find that it becomes completely impossible to peel in the freezing mountain air. The shell and the egg white practically weld together.
Part 2. Peaks of melted chocolate. Emerging from those freezing mornings, our very first major milestone is Mount Siguniang. Specifically, we're looking at a spectacular 70-kilometer route deep into Chuanxi Valley, a place a lot of folks actually call the Eastern Alps. Mount Siguniang is just this massive natural wonderland. It's defined by 4 towering snow-capped peaks, 3 main valleys, including that widely accessible Chuanxi Valley, along with these pristine emerald barrier lakes and super rare high-altitude redwood forests. And get this, as we move through this valley, the elevation rapidly climbs from 2,900 meters at the entrance to nearly 4,000 meters by the time we hit the redwood forest at the end of the road.
Now, what's absolutely wild about these mountains are the sensory details. Because we're exploring in the early summer, the snow doesn't completely cover the rock. Instead, the dark brown granite peaks are just lightly dusted with white snow. Honestly, it looks uncannily like melted chocolate ice cream, where that rich, dark chocolate is just peeking right through the sweet white coating. And when you set those dark chocolate-colored peaks against an incredibly bright blue sky and the lush green coniferous forests below, wow, it is a visual feast. It literally feels like a computer wallpaper just sprang to life.
Deeper within this valley, you'll stumble upon these stunning plateau barrier lakes, like Siguniang. These beauties are formed when tectonic activity or landslides block a river's natural flow. The waters here? They are this serene, incredibly vivid turquoise. And striking right out of that emerald water are these ancient, dead trees. They remain standing perfectly upright because the water is so rich in calcium deposits, it practically petrifies the roots. It's breathtaking for sure. But remember, taking in all this tranquil beauty requires immense physical effort. At nearly 4,000 meters, just walking to the edge of the lake leaves you gasping for desperately thin air.
Part 3. Danba's ancient stone watchtowers.
All right, let's leave the high peaks for just a second and guide our narrative slightly down into the surrounding river valleys. We need to ground this journey in thousands of years of human history. Deep in the valleys of Danba, we find these incredible, ancient stone watchtowers. They literally pierce the sky, standing as silent, towering guards over heritage Tibetan villages that are carved right into the steep hillsides. The visual majesty here is striking. You have this imposing, ancient gray stone contrasting beautifully with brightly colored traditional Tibetan farming homes. And the whole scene is framed by vibrant windhorse prayer flags just fluttering wildly in the valley winds.
Part 4. The Photographer's Paradise.
As we continue pushing our ascent westward, we move toward Chengdu. This is a vital transit hub boasting some of the most sought-after natural light in the entire world. Universally known as the photographer's paradise, and, well, it's pretty easy to see why. The magic primarily happens along a stunning 10-kilometer river valley corridor just outside the main town. Here you've got these vibrant golden poplars, especially mesmerizing in the autumn, by the way, lining winding streams. You pair that with traditional, brightly colored Tibetan houses scattered across lush meadows and endlessly clear, sunlit skies. The way the plateau light hits this specific valley creates a dynamic, high-contrast landscape that photographers travel from all over the globe just to capture.
Part 5. Ascending the Sky City.
But, hey, our journey doesn't stop in the valleys. Now we really have to ramp up the energy for the absolute most grueling leg of the ascent. Carving the legendary 18 bends of the Sky Road brilliantly illustrates the sheer, unbelievable human willpower required to make this journey possible. Construction on this treacherous mountain pass started way back in the early 1950s. The workers faced extreme altitudes, freezing conditions, and sheer cliffs, and they did this relying almost entirely on primitive tools, like we're talking steel chisels and iron hammers. It took 4 grueling years of unimaginable labor to carve this winding road out of pure rock, finally connecting Chengdu and Lhasa for vehicles.
Those 18 hairpin bends push us all the way up to the Kazala Mountain Pass, which sits at a staggering elevation of 4,718 meters. Let me put that into perspective. At this dizzying height, the environment is intensely harsh. The ultraviolet sun burns your skin even right through the bitter cold. The wind just howls relentlessly across the open grasslands, and the sheer lack of oxygen means every single breath you take requires a conscious, exhausting toll on your body.
But once you crest those passes, you finally arrive at Litang, widely known as the City in the Sky. Perched way up on the vast expanses of the Tibetan Plateau, it's renowned as one of the highest towns in the entire world. Arriving here, it honestly feels like stepping onto another planet. The air is desperately thin, making your every movement slow and deliberate. But the spiritual and visual vistas, they are absolutely infinite. You're surrounded by boundless grasslands, towering snow peaks in the distance, and the deep, resonant culture of Tibetan Buddhism pulsing right through the streets. Which brings us right back to the ultimate question of the Sky Road, and it's the one I really want to leave you with today. Would you trade your breath for a glimpse of heaven on earth? This journey through Western Sichuan demands serious physical suffering, but in exchange, it offers natural beauty and cultural depth that you simply cannot find anywhere else on the planet. It's a traveler's paradox that leaves everyone who makes the climb deeply, permanently moved. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer today, and I really hope this journey leaves you wanting to explore even more of our incredible world.